I used to love competitive games. Like, really love them. Ranked ladders, late night grinds, amateur competitions, chasing the next win, telling myself, oh, just one more match. But somewhere along the way, these video games stopped feeling like fun. And I didn't fully understand why until I walked away from multiplayer entirely. This video isn't saying that multiplayer games are bad and that you shouldn't play them. This is about why AAA games just don't feel the same anymore. How competitive gaming burned me out, and how single player experiences really just reminded me why I fell in love with video games in the first place. I don't think it's controversial anymore to say that a lot of these AAA titles feel hollow. Not broken, just kind of shallow and soulless. Modern AAA games launch unfinished, get patched later, and feel more like ongoing products than complete experiences. Everything here is designed around shareholder profits, retention, monetization, and long-term engagement rather than leaving an impact or telling a compelling story. But there's something else that's bothering me, and it's harder to explain. Maybe this is a general issue with Unreal Engine and some other game designing programs, but it feels like the photorealism style that a lot of these big studios have been pushing the last few years, it's all kind of starting to mesh and look the same. And no, I'm not talking about the obvious stuff. Clearly, you could have different textures, different models, environments, even unique mechanics introduced in the games. But it feels like every game has this weird gloss coat on it now. You know what I mean. Almost like in cartoons when someone cleans up their car and it's so shiny you could see that reflection on it. That's how a lot of these modern games feel like to me. Everything is technically impressive, but visually sanitized. There's perfect lighting, perfect reflections, and perfect faces. And somehow, there's less personality than ever before. It feels empty. There's no soul. I recently beat Chronos: The New Dawn, and I couldn't help but notice this every time I booted up in Poland. And don't get me wrong, I loved this game. Survival horror consistently delivers some of the most memorable experiences in video games, and some of the most unique storytelling I've ever seen. This game clearly takes inspiration from Alien and The Thing, two of my favorite films of all time. And to be truthful, I found this game to be really refreshing, even if it didn't necessarily break new ground. But as I played it, the longer and longer I continued with the story, I saw it. That same coat of paint. That same attempt at an ultra-polished, hyper-real look that feels like it's kind of becoming the default now. And I think the loss of stylization, the loss of bold, unique art direction has played a big role in why modern AAA games feel less memorable. Older games had limitations, sure, but those limitations forced creativity. Think of Silent Hill 2. This is a very famous example of the game's limitations actually going and enhancing the overall experience. Now it feels like everything is chasing realism instead of an identity. And then there's competitive multiplayer. I played Overwatch for years. Hours and hours, late nights, constant grinding. Ranked wasn't just a mode, it was basically the entire game. And I chased improvement obsessively. Eventually, after putting so much time and effort into this live service game, I hit Grandmaster. Years of learning matchups, positioning, cooldown and ult tracking, shifting metas, but once I got there, it felt pointless. More of a job, if anything else. And I didn't know why at the time. I thought maybe I was just bored or burnt out temporarily. The truth is, I had already gotten everything the game was offering me. I mean, there was no real story, there's no ending, no reflection, it's just the same loop over and over again and again. And when your entire experience is built around winning and climbing up the ranks, the moment the ladder stops meaning something, everything just collapses. When I finally stepped away from multiplayer games, something clicked. Single player games, they won't rush you. They're not gonna punish you for taking extended breaks. They're gonna respect your time. You could play for an hour, or 2, or 10. You could stop halfway through a mission and come back a few weeks later. The most important thing, at least for me, is they leave you with something. A particular moment, specific memory that you have, or a story that sticks with you months after the credits are done rolling. I was fortunate enough to get a Nintendo Switch 2 during launch week and had to get a copy of Cyberpunk for the full physical cartridge. When I booted up that game for the first time, I was truly blown away by the experience. I could save that for another time, but I enjoyed this game so much more than I thought I would.
Thank you. Fuck! Do you have any idea what you just did?
It's probably my favorite single-player experience this year, maybe even the last few. After finishing the game, I just sat there, thinking about everything that I got to experience. And that's something that competitive games just stopped giving me entirely. Single-player games reminded me that games are art. It's not just systems. They don't need infinite replayability to have a meaningful impact. You don't need battle passes to justify your existence. You just need a vision. And in a world where gaming feels increasingly commercialized, optimized, and homogenized, that matters now more than ever. I didn't quit multiplayer games because I got worse. Well, maybe I did. I stepped away because single player reminded me why I enjoy video games in the first place. My name is Deltah. I'll see you around.
Tom, what you think about that dumbass video, bro?
What the hell?